To set height of cut, they have a gauge over here, and what you do is you set them. Right now we're set in 1 1/4. So what I would want to do is I get my gauge bar out, and I would want to set my gauge bar at 1 1/4. So this is a 32nd scale, so I need to be at 16/64. So I'm going to set this, come in here, and I'm set too high. So I'm going to loosen my jam nut, and I'm probably going to run out of bolt.
That's like a homemade setup, ain't it? What's good?
Ooh. No.
No?
So that's as close as I'm going to get with this nut.
You want the bottom of the bolt
I'm going to go from
even
with this little piece that I have sitting here.
Part of that.
So I've set it right there. I'm at 1 1/4. Now what I'm going to do is take this gauge bar, and you want to be fairly close to the end, so we're going to go to the same spot. We're going to use this piece. The bar goes on here. I'm going to set it against the 2 rollers, and the bottom of the nut is supposed to catch the top of the bed bar of your bed knife. If it's not, what I'm going to do is loosen this nut up, and I'm going to turn this bolt. And if you notice, this is a jam nut. And so when I rotate this, I don't have to change the jam nut. When I adjust this, it'll pull the red piece up or push the red piece down, and this remains tight. If you loosen this up, it'll move it up, but it doesn't actually stay that way. So I want to leave this adjusting nut, loosen this clamping bolt, and turn this and lift it up. And I want to move this one up, and I'm probably going to want to see what my front is and evenly bring them both up until this just slips over it. After that, once I've set this screw, after that, if I want to change it from 1 1/4 to 1 1/8, all I have to do is pull the 4 pins on the 4 corners, slide it up, put the pins back in. Then it's a very simple adjustment. So it's how they set it up. Whoever set this reel up set it up incorrectly, so where this gauge here has no meaning now. Now you have to use your gauge bar to figure it out, and right now we're set incorrectly. We're set about 1 3/8 instead of what this says. So if you do it correctly, these have meaning. What I'm going to look at here is you take your steel ruler and you're going to measure from the front of the bed knife to the gauge bar. And what's that distance? And in our case, we're at 1 1/4. Then I'm going to come to the back and I'm going to measure my height. And in this particular case, we're at 1 42/64. And that means that the back of this bed bar is higher than the front, which is going to be my attitude. My attitude is going to be tilted right way forward. We want to be flat or slightly up. And so in this case, since our numbers are off, I need to move one of these rollers down. And so instead of moving the back one down to gain my 1 1/4, which is wrong, what I want to do is move the front one down. And when I move the front one down, that changes this number, and I want to go even or slightly higher in the back. And that's how you know which roller to move, whether it's the front or the back, to make this have meaning. And that's kind of the secret there. And so you put it on there. If you want to see, this is, you want it to where if you let go of the bed bar, the gauge bar, it stays there. But you don't have to pound it off. So I want to just slip it on and catch it. And if I do that, I'm going to do it the same spot at both ends. It's just on there. And come down here. And it should come. In this case, it's really loose. So whoever set this one didn't set the height of cut even, and they screwed up our gauges down here. And so it makes everybody after that have problems, because now they have to use the gauge bar, and it's just kind of a pain. If I was in a hurry, just wanted to get the cut even, then I would loosen the clamping bolt and just turn this slightly until it contacted. But that could actually make me rock on the table. So you're better off starting all over. Set this thing to where this front and back is even or slightly up. Both of them, front and back, is even, and at that point all the adjustments after that become normal, and that makes your job easy. Every time I deal with reel to bed knife, I'm always playing with the rollers. Do the rollers have end to end? How do they feel? You know, having a resistance is fine. If it's rough, you got bad bearings. If they're starting to get rough, you want to notify someone. Hey, this bearing's starting to get bad. We got movement. We need to look into that as soon as you have time.